Have you ever felt that your life follows a different rhythm, as if something invisible were directing your steps? Maybe you don't even notice, but these forces are present all the time. They are not visible to the human eye, but they exist within you, deeply engraved in your soul since the moment you arrived in this world. If you have ever felt out of sync with the majority, or if there has always been a sense that your path was unique, then you might be carrying something very special. Have you ever wondered why it seems like your journey never aligns with what society expects? And have you ever felt at some point that your purpose was greater than what your eyes could see? The answer is simple. You carry within you one of those invisible marks that set apart those chosen for something grand. They are not a coincidence, and their presence in your life has a profound meaning. These 7 marks, although invisible and immaterial, are the seeds of your spiritual journey. They are the reason why your life seems to follow a more complex, more challenging, but also more rewarding course. You may have noticed since childhood that your perception of the world was different. While others were content with the routine, you wondered about the purpose of everything, felt that there was something beyond what everyone saw. Have you ever found yourself questioning the reason for your difference, or perhaps even struggling against it, trying to fit into what was common? If this message is touching your soul and you know it's time to awaken, stay here. Subscribe and be part of this spiritual revolution. Like the video to further boost our movement. Write in the comments, "I am opening my eyes to my mission," and share your journey with the world. What you may not have realized is that this feeling of distance, this desire to follow your own path, is actually one of the hallmarks of the chosen ones. When you feel that you don't belong, that your vision goes beyond, and that no matter how much you try to get close to people, there is always an invisible chasm between you and them, know that this loneliness is not a burden but a blessing. This is the mark that says you are in a process of spiritual maturation, that you need to learn to strengthen yourself alone. It's not a punishment, it's a preparation. The chosen ones do not let themselves be shaped by society, nor do they lose themselves in the search for external approval. Their strength comes from a connection with something greater, and that is why they often feel isolated, as if they are on the fringes of the world. Society tries to impose a single path, but you intuitively know that you need to follow your own, even if it is less understood by others. This is one of the most powerful marks, the freedom to be who you truly are without the shackles of conformity. And if that feeling of being out of place, that constant urge to question and seek something deeper resonates with you, then maybe it's time to realize that it's not something wrong, but rather a sign that you are part of this special group. Once you understand and accept this mark, life begins to make sense in a completely new way. You no longer need to hide to be accepted. Your true strength comes from your own being. Do you see yourself as someone who has always been a step ahead in terms of awareness? So, this is one of the invisible marks you carry. Have you ever felt like you were feeling too much? Have you ever felt like the world around you was much more intense, and that the emotions of others were constantly affecting you? If so, this may be a reflection of something deeper, something that many do not understand. It is the 3rd invisible mark of the chosen ones, an extreme sensitivity. If you are one of the chosen, you must have already noticed how everything around you impacts your senses much more intensely than it does for other people. It's not just about what you see or hear, but the way you feel each situation, each person, and even the environment you are in. Even before someone says a word, you already know the energy that person is transmitting. You enter a place and, without any apparent reason, you already know if the environment is charged with negativity or lightness. This is not a coincidence, it is part of your essence. Since childhood, you must have noticed that your emotions, the emotions of others, and even places had a weight. It wasn't just about words or gestures, but something invisible, an aura that carried deep feelings with it. The words, the looks, the gestures, all of this carried a greater weight for you which was not understood by others. And this many times was a burden. While most people walk through life without noticing the subtleties happening around them, you find yourself deeply connected to what lies behind each gesture. Sometimes what seems like a simple smile is, in fact, a silent cry of pain. Or that silence between the words can be a storm waiting to happen. And deep down you feel all of this as if it were yours. But the problem is that, at many moments you absorb too much. You feel the pain of others, carry worries that are not yours, and sometimes feel exhausted from carrying other people's energies. The people around you don't understand why you feel so impacted. And often they call you too sensitive. But in fact, this sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a gift. It allows you to see what many do not see. You perceive what is hidden, what is being concealed. Your intuition often guides you away from bad situations or towards something you should avoid. You feel when something is not right, even if others can't perceive it. This can often manifest as premonitions or even an inexplicable sense of discomfort. This sensitivity also brings challenges. You may feel overwhelmed when you are around people who are loaded with negative energy or even in places that emit a dense vibration. It's like being an energetic sponge, absorbing everything around you, which can leave you exhausted without knowing why. That's why the chosen ones need to learn to protect themselves. Moments of solitude, time in nature, and distancing from negative environments become fundamental for energy recovery. Learning to filter what deserves attention is essential. You can't carry the weight of the world even with the gift of feeling things so deeply. And the secret to dealing with this invisible mark is learning to use this gift wisely. If there is something that truly sets the chosen ones apart from others, it is that even when they seem alone, they are never alone. There is an invisible force, a constant presence that guides their steps. Even in moments of despair, when everything seems to be falling apart, you feel that there is something or someone guiding you. Many call this intuition or divine protection. Others believe it is something greater, a spiritual purpose that transcends the visible. Regardless of the name, the fact is that this invisible presence is always there, guiding the chosen ones. Have you ever found yourself making a decision without a logical explanation, just because something inside you said it was the right thing to do? Or perhaps you have ever escaped from a dangerous situation without understanding how, as if an invisible force was pulling you away from danger? These experiences are not mere luck or coincidence. They are part of the path of the chosen ones. From an early age, many realize that their paths are different, with twists and disconcerting moments that only make sense over time. Have you ever noticed how, with the passage of time, everything seems to fall into place in a way that initially seemed impossible? People come and go in your life at the exact moments, and even the doors that close push you towards more appropriate directions. What once seemed like a great obstacle later reveals itself as a disguised opportunity. If you have ever experienced something like this, you might realize that it is not a coincidence. This invisible force acts in subtle ways, manifesting in daily signs that you, as the chosen one, begin to perceive more clearly. Did you feel that this message touched something deep within you? Subscribe now so you don't miss the next content that can further transform your journey. Like the video so it reaches even further. And if you are truly committed to your awakening, consider giving a super thanks. This gesture not only supports us but also helps us further expand the message of awakening to the world. Have you noticed that certain numbers frequently repeat in your life? Like 1111, 2222, or other numerical patterns. Or maybe you had dreams so vivid and real, as if they were messages sent directly to you? Those moments of déjà vu, where it seems like you already know what's going to happen, or even the unexpected encounters that change everything. Coincidences, for the chosen ones, are just signs of a greater plan in action. But this invisible force does not lead you down the easiest path. She is not here to offer you a comfortable or predictable life. On the contrary, it pushes you out of your comfort zone, placing you in front of challenges that require growth and transformation. It's scary because the human mind resists change and the unknown, but the chosen ones were not made for an ordinary life. They are shaped by life, honed by destiny and experiences that strengthen them, make them wiser, and prepare them to fulfill their greater mission. If you feel that this force is at work in your life, even when everything seems confusing or meaningless, know that you are not alone. You may not understand all the steps you are being guided to take, but trust the flow of life. The challenges are inevitable, but they have a purpose. Each sign, each step beyond your control, is a part of the path that brings you closer to your truth. Now, if you thought that was deep, wait until you see the next mark. The chosen ones carry something even more powerful, something that cannot be erased. They are not just sensitive or guided by invisible forces, but they possess a unique presence that does not go unnoticed. Have you noticed how, no matter what you do, you always attract attention? Even when you try to go unnoticed, there is something about you that cannot be ignored. It may be that some people feel attracted to you as if they know you carry something special. On the other hand, there are those who, for no apparent reason, feel an immediate discomfort and try to avoid your presence. This happens because their vibration is different. When you enter a place, the energy there changes. This presence that you carry is not something forced or learned. It is something genuine, that reflects the truth to those around you. Your energy is like a mirror. For those who live in lies or lower vibrations, your light can be uncomfortable. This can manifest in rejections, judgments, or even hostility without explanation. But this is just the truth reflecting in a way that some are not ready to face. Maybe you have noticed that people tell you their most intimate secrets, even without knowing you deeply, or that your presence brings an inexplicable calm. At the same time, you must have already faced looks of envy or rejection. This is no mere coincidence. Your light can be unsettling, especially for those who are not ready to awaken. The great challenge of this invisible mark is learning to deal with it. Many chosen ones, upon realizing the impact they cause, try to hide. They spend years trying to fit in, dimming their light, until they discover that, in fact, there is no way to avoid who they are. The only way to move forward is to accept your true essence and allow your light to shine, no matter who is comfortable or not with it. Deep down, you must have already realized that trying to dim your light will never work. The more you try to hide, the more frustrated you feel because a chosen one was not made to be invisible. The feeling of trying to fit in, of dimming your own light, is always temporary, and you end up distancing yourself from what truly defines you. The secret, then, is not in changing who you are, but in accepting the greatness of your presence. When people distance themselves, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. They are just not prepared for the intensity of your energy. And if others seek you out, it's because your light is doing the work it was meant to do: guide, illuminate, and awaken. Your presence, as challenging as it may be for some, is a gift you offer to the world, even if you cannot understand all the ways in which this happens. As you begin to accept this truth, you realize that you are not alone. There are other chosen ones out there, and when their energies meet, they strengthen each other. However, this strengthening comes with a burden that few understand or bear. The weight of knowledge and truth is a heavy burden, something that the chosen ones have always carried. The chosen ones do not see the world like the majority. They see hidden patterns, perceive when something is about to happen, and know truths that many would prefer not to know. This can be a gift, but it also comes with great responsibility. Because once you know, there's no way to close your eyes and ignore reality. Maybe you have already experienced this feeling. Realizing that the people around you are trapped in a limited reality, believing in lies that have been passed down from generation to generation. You try to open their eyes, show them what lies beyond what they can see, but often, it's in vain. The problem with carrying this knowledge is that it often becomes a solitary burden. The chosen ones often feel isolated, not because they choose this path, but because few are ready to accompany them on this journey. Superficial conversations become irrelevant, and everyday concerns lose their meaning. And even if you want to share what you know, you often encounter mockery, disbelief, or even hostility. Here arises the fundamental dilemma: to speak or to remain silent. The chosen ones often find themselves forced to keep the truths they know to themselves, because most people are not ready to hear them. Trying to alert someone about something that has been perceived, but that the other person cannot understand, can be frustrating and painful. This generates a great spiritual fatigue because, as a chosen one, you know that the truth needs to be shared, but often the world is not ready for it. No matter how hard they try, a chosen one can never completely detach from their mission. Something will always bring you back to the path, always remind you of your purpose. But there is a way to lighten this burden. Understand that you are not here to force anyone to see the truth. You are here to illuminate the path for those who are already ready to awaken. You don't need to convince those who are not yet ready. Simply continue being who you are, living your truth. Those who are ready will approach naturally without you needing to do anything. And this is the last invisible mark of the chosen ones, the most powerful mark of all. It not only defines who you are but also reveals the profound purpose behind everything you have lived through so far. The last invisible mark of the chosen ones is the deepest and most powerful of all: unshakable resilience and a direct connection to the source. The chosen ones are not just sensitive or awakened individuals. They are spiritual warriors, forged in the difficulties of life. Each challenge, each moment of pain, each rejection, each internal battle, all of this was part of a divine process of strengthening. While many succumb to difficulties, the chosen ones rise, one step at a time, wiser, stronger, and more prepared for what is to come. Maybe you have already wondered why your life has never been easy. Why, since childhood, have you had to fight more than others? Why did adversities constantly seem to test you, as if something were shaping you for a greater purpose? This happens because you were not made for a common existence. Your spirit was placed in this world with a unique mission. To fulfill this mission, you needed to be strong enough to face and overcome everything life would offer you. But this strength does not come solely from within you. It is sustained by a deep connection with something greater. The chosen ones are not alone. They never were. There is a force, a power, an energy guiding every step, protecting, guiding, bringing the right people at the right moments. This connection with the source can be called by many names: God, the universe, the supreme consciousness, or any other name that resonates with your truth. What matters is that this force is always there, constant, even when the world seems to be falling apart. Have you ever felt that strong intuition, that premonition that saved you from something bad? Or that moment when, even in the midst of the storm, something happened and showed you that there was a greater purpose behind it all? This is not a coincidence. The chosen ones have a direct connection with this higher intelligence, a force that guides, protects, and directs them, often without them being consciously aware of it. But there is a fundamental truth about this last mark. The more you resist your calling, the harder your journey will be. Many chosen ones spend years trying to escape who they are, trying to fit in, ignoring the signs, trying to live as if they were like everyone else. But this resistance only brings more suffering. Relief, true peace, comes when you accept your mission, when you stop fighting against your nature and surrender to the flow of divine purpose. Everything you have experienced so far, the invisible marks you carry, the feeling of being different, the extreme sensitivity, the invisible guidance, the striking presence, the weight of knowledge and truth, all of this has a purpose. You were made for something much greater. And now the choice is in your hands. The question is, are you ready to accept who you really are? Because once you awaken to this truth, there is no turning back. The journey of the chosen ones, although difficult, is undoubtedly the most rewarding that exists. This is the final mark, and it defines everything. If you choose to follow this path, you will no longer be alone. The invisible force, the one that has always been with you, will guide you through the entire process. What lies ahead is challenging, but it is also the path to fulfillment. If you have made it this far, I truly thank you for your dedication and presence. This shows that you are committed to your awakening, and I am honored to be able to share this journey with you. If you feel that this content has been valuable, consider supporting the channel with a super thanks. Your support is essential for us to continue bringing more videos like this. Now, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let's discuss the topics we talked about today. The exchange of ideas is essential for our collective growth. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything that's coming up. Until the next video, and stay strong on your path of evolution.